So now the point was that at different situations people come, they need to be instructed. And devotees always look for an opportunity. We used to do it in our college after we came to Krishna consciousness. There was a notice board where the F-list used to be put. And it was like a disaster, Within 48 hours, the papers were to be checked. That was the rule. And I think many universities still have that rule. 48 hours, 72 hours. Papers have to be checked. And the F-list has to be out. Those who have failed out. Others, they will submit to the department. There is no hurry. This they used to release. For whatever reason, I don't know. I still remember there was a yellow kind of chart paper. In that, they will put course number and the roll numbers of the people who have failed. Small, it was a chart. That was like a heart attack chart. People used to come and look. And we used to also go there, note down those numbers. It is not very difficult. Everywhere roll list is available. Locate who are the people. And they will be in their room after the exams are over. They will be in their room. And they will be totally heartbroken. And we used to go with Bhagavad Gita behind them. You read Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. What to do now? Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We start preaching. It works. It works. It is effective. Artha Artha. So this is an opportunity. Now Sage Angira and Narada, they have nothing to gain. This is another thing too important. They have nothing to gain by preaching Chitriketu. If you have something to gain when you are preaching somebody, that preaching is condemned. That is called Bhagavad Saptah, which Prabhupada totally condemned throughout his lectures and conversation. Correct? Totally. He saw that in Vrindavan. Even now it is going on. You walk like left, right, 360 degrees. One step you walk, idhar se bhashan. To vidur bole, mere Krishna ji. Thoda aage jao, dusra. This. Constantly it is going on. And why Acharya condemns it? Because they are speaking for money. It is condemned in the Vedic culture. Correct? Then what is a business? Then it's a business. Business karo na, se acha. A business bhi karte hain wo log. Then after some time they get into real business. This is a subtle business. Just like you go to the temples and the pujari says, sit down. We don't want to sit down. We want to run away. Because they will within 5 minutes say, go down over, give 40,000. And what to do then? We don't want to upset in a sadhu in a temple. Correct? Baitho. Log bhakte hain. Nobody wants to say. Why? He is no difference between him and a Bhagavad Saptah reciter. He is saying, sit down. Here Bhagavatam if from for so many days and then you give me dakshina. And Prabhupada's joke sometimes. These people go to villages sometimes. It's a earning profession. And they go to villages sometimes. And there what people will give, village people are poor, they give an umbrella, one shoe. They were happy with that itself. It has become a profession. It's not good. The Prabhupada says when that is there for millions of years you can speak Bhagavatam and millions of years you can hear Bhagavatam, it will have no spiritual benefit, no spiritual profit. So understand? Angira Rishi is not speaking, if I am speaking to this person and if I impress him, the Chitriketu, acha dakshina milega. He is not thinking about it. He is come to preach Krishna consciousness. For his maintenance it depends on the Lord. That's the mark of a devotee. It doesn't depend on these arrangements. He has come to preach. Who? To whom? To Chitriketu. Why? He is in great pain. Paradukha dukhi. The devotees feel great pain when he sees other people suffering. And also he had appreciated the king. Because even though the king was very opulent and all, very rich personality, he was very humble. He had noticed when he visited him last time, the king sat at his feet, even though he was the emperor, very respectfully. And things are there. So now Prabhupada is saying in the purport, the another mistake that the king did was he never understood the will of the Lord. The will of the Lord. One wife, two wives, three wives, and you're not having a child. Krishna doesn't want me to have a child. Forget it. He never accepted the will. One more. Uncountable wife he had, number of wives. On top of it, he was begging the sages, ek bacha chahiye. We get worked up. Understand the will of the Lord. ये boundary डाल दिया बस, इसके आगे नहीं जा सकते. Accept करो. उसको तोड़ने की जरूरत नहीं है. Be peaceful now. Krishna doesn't want something to happen, you cannot do it, whatever you want. Therefore, even though he forced that to happen, what is the result? It was taken away. It was not in his destiny to have a child and have all the material fun of playing with the child and the child. He had that for some time, but more than that pain he got, so much so he almost died of the pain. That's what the last chapter ended with. He almost died of the pain, and seeing that, Angira Rishi felt compassion and he came. And not only he came, at that time he brought the greatest of the sages. What is his name? Narada. He brought Narada also. Narada, please come, help me. This person, we should bless him spiritually. So he is telling him that actually everything depends on the will of the Lord. Nothing happens independent of him. And this gives so much peace. If we know things are happening accidentally, we become so disturbed. Or if we think God becomes envious and jealous of him, then also you become disturbed. Somebody is, sometimes something happens, we look for a scapegoat. Oh, because of him it has happened. Because of him it has happened. No, sir. Krishna is in total control. Don't worry. Nothing can happen outside the will of Krishna. Krishna is sanctioned. Let it happen like that. And he's peaceful. He's very, very peaceful. So Angira Rishi is very peaceful. Even though he has come here, he didn't start crying. अरे क्या हुआ, बच्चा मर गया. And he also started crying. Then उसको सेज होने की क्या जरूरत थी? तुम भी बैठो, वहीं बैठो, तुम भी राजा बन जाओ. And if he wanted some money from the king, then let him also stay. Why he is a sage? Better be a king only. Be a normal samsaric person. Why you are taking the role? The devotee means he is free from all this existential anxiety. He is very peaceful. He has no anxiety. Devotee means he should not have anxiety for his maintenance. If you do not have this much faith that Krishna will maintain me, don't be a devotee. And therefore you cannot even stay brahmachari. Why? They are very big worry. Old age, who will take care of me? Then how you can stay brahmachari? The dependence on the Lord should develop. Then you can be a brahmachari. Otherwise you cannot be. Correct? People will start calculating then. Moment calculation means you are a karmi. No calculations. I depend on the Lord. Krishna will maintain me. Krishna is very kind, very merciful. Whatever I can do in my condition, some service I can offer to Krishna, I feel so happy. Okay? And as far as maintenance, that is not in his consideration. He is actually thinking of Krishna. Just like there is a Draupadi, you know that? It is a very nice instance. Somebody just told me. Draupadi chanted just once, Govinda, please can you protect me? And Krishna protected her. Very interestingly, after that Krishna's recalls to his devotees, she called my name so feelingly. I don't know how to repay that. That is okay. Dresses दे दिया, वो महाभारत में सबको मार दिया, वो तो चलो हो गया. But so feelingly she called that name that still it ringing in my heart. How do I repay her for that? That is the equation Krishna is living with. So how can a devotee who is offering loving devotion service to Krishna bother about his maintenance? He's not bothered about all that. He's in a different. I'm trying to serve Krishna. I leave it to Krishna. This cannot be understood by everybody. Devotee does not live on this every moment in anxiety for his maintenance. That is the curse, shapa on the karmis. Karmis mean उनका हर दिन count करते रहो, इतना है मुनाफा, इतना लॉस है, इतना मुनाफा, इतना लॉस. That is a shapa on them. पूरा दिन पेट जलाओ वो acid से. Devotee doesn't live on that. We are chanting Hare Krishna, correct? Krishna will take care. द्रौपदी ने तो एक बारी बोला, मैं तो कितना बारी 16 into 108 time. How much it become? 1728 time we are chanting. At least one time we chant feelingly, no? And Krishna says, how do I repay that? So that is not a consideration. Okay? You see the sage Angira and Narada. It's not that they have some fixed income. They have some somebody to feed them regularly. Nothing. They're traveling. Spiritually, they're traveling all around the universe, preaching Krishna consciousness. This is not their consideration. Ye kya hoga, no? Then don't be a sage, don't be a sadhu. Be a normal karmi, have some business. But just like a brahmachari, you cannot be a brahmachari unless you're fixed that even in my old age, Krishna will take care of me. You cannot be a brahmachari. That's why many brahmacharis get married. Budhape mein koi karega, kaun karega? Number one. Number two, then don't be a brahmachari. Better get married. faith. Krishna will take care of me. So similarly, when you are a devotee, there should not be an anxiety. Oh, what is happening? You should be thinking, how do I serve Krishna? Okay? Whatever possible, how do I serve Krishna? He is not in anxiety about his maintenance. Very happy and peaceful and blissful in that platform. You see, then only on that platform you can preach so vigorously. It is said the last thing a Brahmana should do is to take a service. Then he cannot preach. He loses his preaching. Like Shukracharya is condemned in the Bhagavatam because he was taking salary from Bali Maharaj. He is condemned. Preaching karega. Now, moment you take a salary, you cannot speak. You have to always flatter the master. Correct? What a salaried person does, he has to flatter the master. It is said a Brahmana is in difficulty, he can take a Kshatriya role sometime. Or he can take a Vaishya role. He can, go and do agriculture and cow. But whatever happens on earth, he should not take a Shudra role. A Brahmana means a preacher, a teacher for the society. If he has taken a Shudra role, how can he tell the master you are wrong? Can he tell? Because then the food is disturbed. Shukracharya, why he was worried when Vaman Deva came, he was very worried. Are Baba, he will take up everything, then how will I live? His existential anxiety made him compromise, even surrender of his devotee to the Krishna. Don't surrender to Krishna. No, don't do that. Then how we will live? He was bringing his disciple also, dragging his disciple to his lower platform. His disciple was in higher platform than him. Depended on Krishna. Okay, Krishna wants to take everything. Take. No problem. But he was not worried. There is another example. Who are the sages as King Vena? The sages came to advise King Vena. Bhai, kya kar rahe ho? Why are you propagating that we should not worship Vishnu? What all this kind of propaganda? Like modern day governments are all Vena governments. Around the world, all Vena governments. But the Brahmanas are not powerful now. Previously, these Brahmanas went. They said, what are you doing? I said, what? I am the one maintaining you. Like government can say, we give you so many tax deduction, this and I am the one maintaining you. You should worship me. Where is God? He said, I am God. I am giving you dakshina. You Brahmanas live on dakshinas. I am giving you dakshina. And where is your God? So they felt so hurt. What did they do? Just Shrapa he died. Why? Independent. They are not dependent on him. They could speak the truth. Then only the Brahmanas have courage to speak the truth. If they are dependent on the Lord, they can speak the truth. There is an example of Chanakya. Chanakya, everybody knows. He was the one who made Chandragupta Maurya the king. It's a famous history. In fact, that is the time Chanakya Chandragupta thing is there in the Vedic history also, in the modern history also. There it merges. Shows the Vedic history is correct. There are many instances of if you take the down king, tuck, it matches. Many people have shown. Even Krishna descents is matching. Or this king, it is known in the modern history. But he's actually, his father are all discussed in the Vedas. People have found the area of matching, of overlap of modern and ancient history. Because we don't know much about ancient history, not more than 1,000, 2,000 years, we have no knowledge. Nobody knows anything. Even in big country, they get surprised. Oh, we were looking for it. Recently in England, they got some Bronze Age, something we got. We find some sculpture. Actually, there is no documented history in the modern day setup. But Vedas, they did document the history. This documented history is there. But they don't accept it. But the interesting thing is, many times it matches. Chanakya and Chandragupta Maurya, not to the modern history also, and they mentioned in the Vedic history also. Iska beta ye tha, iska beta ye tha, iska beta ye tha, iska raja ye hua, fir usko mara ye bana, fir usko mara tak. The Maurya dynasty is mentioned, and Chandragupta Maurya is mentioned, Chanakya is mentioned in the modern history. He is also mentioned in the Bhagavatam coming down. Very interesting. There is just one, but devotees are found on many areas where there is a matching. So now what happens is that Chanakya at a certain age time, Chandragupta Maurya has asked some explanation. Why do you say like that instruction in a very insulting way? Chanakya walked away. Because he was living in a hut outside the kingdom. He was not bothered about all the detachment. So that is very much needed. In fact, that is why the Pandavas have degraded, because they started depending. Correct? They started depending. No, he should glorify the Lord. Krishna will send resources. Correct? That's what happened to the Pandavas. Why the Pandavas degraded? because they calculate. Okay, he has come, itna log aaya, itna dakshina dega. Then the whole atmosphere is degraded today. But how were their parents? They were also there in the holy places. When we go to holy places, we do need guidance. We do need guidance. Right? What will happen? Otherwise, we don't know what are the pastimes enacted at that place. And when somebody you take help, he glorifies the whole place and is so happy. Then what happens to you? You feel so grateful. Like you at least maintain him. Correct? The whole Vedic culture, Brahmanas are maintained by the society out of gratitude. But there is no system of salary for Brahmanas. Brahmanas do not have assured income. It's a out of obligation society maintains. So, but the Brahmana should do his job. That's all. So Brahmana should therefore preach enthusiastically in the society and depend on Krishna. Just like when Shukadeva Goswami came to meet Parikshit Maharaj, the whole assembly at, what is the place he came? On the banks of the Suta. This is Shukadeva Goswami. On the banks of the Ganges, where he was sitting, Parikshit Maharaj was sitting. And then he started speaking. Was he calculating? Arey Raja hai, janam jay acha dakshina dega. माँ अच्छा है यार, क्या दोगे उसको कपड़े भी नहीं चाहिए, थोड़ा दूध चाहिए आधा लीटर दिन में, क्या दोगे उसको तुम? He is totally detached from you for all the situation. He is enjoying. He is drinking the nectar of Krishna consciousness and he glorified the Lord. That itself is his total satisfaction. For the devotee, satisfaction is preaching. The preaching itself is his life and soul. And that is his life. That is his pleasure. And automatically, when that is done, the society out of gratitude maintains. That's how the Brahmanas are living. How they were living? By living a dakshina. And they were giving service to the people. Like, see, Angira is coming, he's giving service. He's giving a wonderful service to the society. And the king is in great trouble. He's giving. Therefore, there is to be a great gratitude in the society for the Brahmanas. So much gratitude that whenever there used to be a festive occasion, wherever there will be something, they used to call some Brahmanas and they used to generously donate. They were so happy with them because their contribution was so important for the society. So important. Correct? Very, very important. So in this way, Sage Angira started his instruction. And what is the first instruction he has given? We should accept the will of the Lord. The child has died by Krishna's will. By Krishna's will, you do not have a pleasure of having a child. Accept it and be peaceful. Correct? And be happy. But he was not ready to accept the will of the Lord. He was somehow trying. Anybody, 1 wife, 2 wives, 3 wives, 4 wives. If you're not having a child, leave it. No. Kings were allowed to have few more wives than one in the Vedic time. That is a different setup. But the point is that he should accept it. No, one more wife. Let me try. And then after that, who a sage is coming? He has asked Angira. He would have asked everybody actually. Obviously. Angira happened to be a very powerful sage. Directly son of Brahma. Is a very powerful sage. But whoever came, can you help me? Can you help me? I want to have a child. Can you leave it? No. Accept the will. Be peaceful. And be very happy. Just like Srila Prabhupada movement was not successful at all for 40 years. Or at least take 30 years after he got order of his guru, he could not do anything practically. In the sense of raising a huge, he was not thinking of small, he was thinking of worldwide movement. Nothing was successful. Read the purport of Bhagavatam. He is so happy, so much happy. He was in Radha Damodar temple, he was doing Madhukari. Madhukari, you understand? You go to nearby some house, can you give me something? One give you paratha, like eat. Oh yeah, one lunch. And he was busy writing his Bhagavatam. And how nicely the purports are written. You see, there is not, his existential situation was not very comfortable that time. In fact, some people recount visiting Prabhupada and meeting him that time. He said there was nothing in his room at Radha Damodar temple. Nothing. Nothing to call as furniture or even many sets of clothes. Nothing. He did not even have proper clothes. He is so happy and peaceful doing his devotion service to Krishna. That's how devotee's life is. Totally dependent on the Lord. And it happened at a particular time, things changed. Correct? And he became the world Acharya. No difference. He came to Vrindavan, again went to Radha Damodar temple, and he was sitting there. There were the classes they took for devotees, and there was no change in his personality. He's same. The same happy, enjoying. Previously, there was nobody to share the pleasure of Krishna consciousness, which he was drinking by the grace of his own spiritual position, by the grace of his own spiritual master, and Krishna is drinking the pleasure. He was sharing happily now. Previously, there was nobody to share. He was writing. He was enjoying and writing and sharing in time of books. And now they got an opportunity. He was enjoying the nectar and sharing, but is totally detached from the situation. And therefore, the same situation when his death came, detached. Whole life you practice detachment. At the death time also you are detached. And you're depending on the Lord is continuous. If you live a life of attachment and life of dependence, then suddenly at the time of death you will not develop detachment. You have to practice. He was totally detached from the situation. In fact, many times devotee asked him, Prabhupada, your life must have been very difficult. Prabhupada said, no, Krishna was always with me. Krishna always was making very nice arrangements for me. He was traveling to city, there was no place to stay. So, there is some person who knows he was staying at that place, but basically depending on the Lord. Now that kind of, and whenever some situation came, generally people have very high estimation of themselves. I'm very special. Okay. But no, he was not thinking. He said, Krishna is so kind, he's taking care of me, but I am not worth anything. But Krishna is very kind. He took a very good care of me. In fact, the way he was for this 30 years was a very tough time. Particularly after he took sannyas, 55 years to 70 was very, very tough time. He was traveling here, there, nothing is happening. He's trying for movement to start. That's why he wrote a letter to the President of India during those times. I'm crying alone in wilderness. I'm crying alone in wilderness. Don't think I'm a mad man. I have a clue how people can go back to Krishna. And you are in a position to help me. Please help me. Please understand the situation. But he is detached. Okay? And the president did not help. Okay? He wrote a letter to even Nehru instructing him that you are thinking about industrialization of India and all those things. But please understand, our real work is not this. India is meant for spiritual culture. This country is unique for that. Don't keep it aside. That's the main thing. That's actually mistake of the society. The society is trapped in economic development, and that is the samadhi of people on that. Samadhi. A devotee, a samadhi should be on preaching Krishna consciousness. Automatically, Krishna will start giving intelligence. See what happens. If the focus is to preach Krishna consciousness, any facility you think for preaching Krishna consciousness is meant for preaching Krishna consciousness. Facility itself is not the end. You understand? If I have a nice mridanga, I can use it for nice kirtan. Not that I purchase a big mridanga now. Oh, that's okay. That's not very important. Correct? Why you have mridanga for? Or using it for Krishna consciousness. So that way things are detached and devotee is peaceful. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki.